Hey guys, welcome to Nothing in the Crib. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy. Just when you think that we've heard the last of this big titty bitch, she just pops out of the fucking woodwork. And I feel bad for her. Nancy, you need to get you some new fucking friends, girl. You need new friends. Not a new plastic surgeon. And I know that's a very controversial statement to make, considering what her fucking face looks like. But hear me out. She doesn't need a new plastic surgeon. She has hundreds of millions of dollars from insider trading, from her idiot, alcoholic, gay-adjacent husband sometimes. It's not the surgeon's fault. What she has are bad fucking friends. Have you ever tried to leave your fucking house with fucked up eyebrows? Your friends won't let you. If you have good friends, they won't let you. They'll stop you. They'll be like, bitch, you gotta take some off the top here or some off the bottom here, but you look half surprised and I don't want to be seen with you in public. That's good fucking friends. Think of all the people that see this bitch. Nobody's saying shit. And the reason I know that is because it's a very simple brow release procedure to fix her eyebrows, to lower them back down to where they should be, where they were 84 fucking years ago when she was 20. She's had so many facelifts now. I'm pretty sure the surgeon is just sticking a sardine key, like in an old tin of sardines, in the back of her head and just cranking that fucking shit back. So now her eyebrows reside where her hairline should be. And her hairline's in the middle of her fucking head. But she hides it with her wig. I don't know. But all of your coworkers, all your friends, all the people you see, the fucking surgeon, your husband, nobody's like, hey, bitch, do you know you always look like you've just seen a fucking rat? Like, do you know that? Do you know how scary you fucking look? I don't know. Get you some new fucking friends, girl. Get you some new fucking friends. Everyone's fucking lying to you. Everyone's fucking lying to you. And that poor husband, Paul Pelosi, he looks like one of those old-timey, like, derogatory statues that, like, your nanny would have, like little Hummels, or like the one outside in the lamppost. It's like the hobo with the big rosy nose who's clearly fucked up and half homeless. That's what Paul Pelosi looks like all the time. Which makes you wonder how he's better at stock trading than Warren Buffett and George Soros, because he doesn't seem to even be able to complete a sentence correctly or not drink and drive. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Can you imagine having to fuck her? That poor fucking man. Can you imagine having to fuck that dusty, crypt keepery looking bony fucking bitch? Can you imagine having to fuck a Madame Tussauds wax statue of Michael Jackson every fucking night? No wonder he's gay. If you were given that choice, you would choose to fuck the wild woodland forest fucking hippie also. The schizophrenic one with a hammer. You would always choose that. Don't say you wouldn't. Nobody wants to bang her. She's a monster. She's also like a fucking cockroach. Do you know how sturdy you have to be to survive Hillary Clinton that long? Do you know how fucking crooked and corrupt you have to be for your name to be brought up for that many years? And Hillary's like, that bitch? We're not worried about that bitch. We're not worried about that one. We're good. She's okay. She's not going to cause a concern. Speaking of abused husbands, have you seen a recent photo of Bill Clinton lately? He looks, it's not good. It's not good. It's terrible. He looks real fucking bad. He looks like if he was in a vampire film and like you've been being fed on for like a week, but you're still like 2 days away from dying and turning into one. That's just what he looks like constantly. But that's because he lives with a serial killer. I can't imagine that man doesn't want to kill himself. And of course he can't. Can you imagine that conversation? Can you imagine having to go to your wife, Hillary Clinton, and confide in that Muppet that you're having fucking suicidal thoughts? And she's like, excuse me? She's probably preventing him from killing himself. She's like, do you have any fucking idea what will happen if there is even one more suicide attached to me? Do you have any idea? We'll be finished. It can't happen. Get your shit together. Eat these fucking pills and go fuck those underage girls I got you. And shut up. Just medicate yourself like everybody else. She's probably just feeding him like booze and pills and underage hookers. That's the Epstein connection. I think you guys have it wrong. I think you guys have it all wrong. I have a different theory. I don't think it's Bill. I don't think Bill, I mean, he was definitely fucking the underage girls, but I don't think it was like him being like, yo, Jeff, can I come over? I think Hillary was calling up Ghislaine, and she was like, look, I need 24 this time. I know it's a lot, but I keep catching him trying to hang himself with his neckties in the closet, and obviously we can't have that, and I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill him because that's just going to draw attention to it. I'm going to try just feeding him more pills and booze and hookers first, and we're going to see if we can, get him through this somehow, because I don't want to kill him, but I will. I definitely will. I'm pretty sure that's what the connection really is. But you might ask yourself, why are we talking about Miss Nancy? I'm going to tell you why we're talking about Miss Nancy. The plot thickens. Nancy Pelosi was recently given an award for advancing healthcare. Please just let that sink in for a second. Even if you have no knowledge about anything I'm about to say to you, just ponder it and see how you feel about that statement. The group that gave her this award is one of the most powerful hospital lobbyist groups, which, hospital lobbyist groups are the most powerful private lobby in the country. So she got an award from them for advancing healthcare. The main directive of hospital lobbyist groups, just so we're all clear, is to block government-funded healthcare. The reason they want to block government-funded healthcare is because that would drastically drive down the prices that hospitals can charge you. And I know that seems like something that we would all want, but hospital lobbyist groups don't want that, because hospitals specifically are the single most profitable portion of the for-profit healthcare system that we currently have. So, you might be asking yourself, well, what did Nancy do? What did Nancy do that a group who doesn't want to advance healthcare would give her an award for advancing healthcare? I'll tell you. She was given this award because she's historically done this, just so you know. She's historically used her position in the House to block healthcare reform. But particularly recently, she blocked a really specific bill that was Medicare for all, which would have helped everyone. She also blocked all kinds of healthcare reforms that were independent from that. They don't want to reform in any way. Hospital lobbyist groups, obviously, that's all their fucking money gone. And she's been an integral part of preventing that from happening for fucking years. And if you're wondering how many years, please go look up the photo of her where she's actually beautiful. She used to be beautiful. What happened to you, bitch? She used to look a little bit like Audrey Hepburn, but it's a black and white photo where she's standing next to JFK. So for that many fucking years, this crooked ass bitch has been doing that. And they don't even try to hide it. Like, you can go, the fact that you can go look at all this shit, you can go see what she's done. You can go see everything she's been awarded for. All of her pioneering fucking efforts. Because they don't hide it. And they don't try to hide it. Because they've never had to before. That's the problem. People are like, they're not even hiding it anymore. They're being more obvious. No, they're fucking not. They've always been hiding it. It has always been obvious. It's just that these fucks are so institutionalized and so old, they are not keeping up with fucking technology. That's the problem. They can't hide it anymore. They're still behaving as if there is not a fucking smartphone in everyone's fucking pocket. They don't get it yet. They're not getting it. And they can't get a grip on it. And I'm pretty sure that's why, if you notice, all the older ones anyway, out of nowhere, they're all just dropping like fucking flies. Not dying. Hill's not getting the corrupt people, of course. No, they're just, retiring and pursuing their passions, beginning the second half of their life at 80 fucking 5. They don't want to do that. Nobody wants to pursue their passions at 80 fucking 5. It's because you have to, because you keep getting yourself in trouble. Because they're all acting like everyone's senile fucking grandparents. I'm going to finally pursue my passion of painting. Because I don't understand that phones and cameras fucking exist everywhere. And I keep getting caught doing shit. That's what it is. And it's ridiculous. Because if your 85-year-old grandfather or grandmother was like legitimately so fucking senile that they've become one of those old people who just say shit. Like, you can't bring them out anymore. They just say slurs for no reason when you've never encountered that behavior before. And they're just horribly offensive all the time out of nowhere. And have no, emotional regulating skills anymore. And let's say they shit themselves more than once. Shit themselves multiple fucking times. Can't work anymore. Keep getting in trouble at work. And they come to you being this actively senile, and they're like, I want to pursue painting. You wouldn't go, okay, and put them in charge of something. Just here's something to keep you busy on the side. I'm going to put you in charge of something super fucking important. And then at the same time as they're destroying whatever you've put them in charge of, let them paint. And then sell their shitty senile paintings for tens of thousands of dollars. That's not what would happen. You'd put them in a home. You'd be like, okay, Grandpa, we got a nice place for you. You can shit yourself whenever you want, and nobody's going to make fun of you. They're going to clean you up. All these people have money, so I'm assuming it would be a nice facility. They're going to be nice to you. They're not going to steal your shit and pinch you like regular nursing homes, steal your meds. And you can paint every day. You can pursue your passion of painting. That's where these people belong. They belong in fucking homes. Old people homes. They should be medicated. Some of them should be fucking euthanized. I know, that's a little callous, but honestly, some of the shit some of them are doing, wouldn't it just be better? Isn't that the better option? So they don't have to suffer anymore, and neither do we. It seems like all parties would benefit from that. You wouldn't put them in charge of shit, is what I'm saying. But we're sick. As a country, we're sick. And we've always been sick. I understand that mental illness is, legitimately skyrocketing, but it's also always been really prevalent. And I think people forget that it's always been here. And I was born in the 80s in New York. So I'm going to speak to this from my own experience with this. My father was the medical director of the emergency room that he was a physician in. And the hospital was very close to one of the mental institutions, because this is before they closed all of the mental institutions down, because it was inhumane. We'll put a pin in that one. And I remember all of these because whenever my dad would come home from work, I am morbid and disturbed. So ever since I was a very small child, I would always, tell me the cases. Tell me the grossest cases. Tell me the most gory. And I always remember the mental institution ones being the coolest. It was always the most crazy shit. It was people with pica, people who were hammering pieces of metal into their head. This one girl would she would break apart cassette tapes and rip out the tape and fucking eat it. Unhinged, mentally unwell fucking people. And I distinctly remember when they made the decision to shut these facilities down, because my father was like, this is not going to be good. He's like, this is not the right choice. He was working with these people very frequently, and he knew the full fucking extent of the mental illness. And I distinctly remember there were 2 patients that he was like, I was, you could tell they were in for murder, of course, in unhinged ways. He's like, you can tell these people cannot be out on the street. They cannot be out on the fucking street. So they closed the nursing homes, or the mental institutions, down. I don't even remember what the fuck exactly they referred to them as, but that's what they were. Saying the conditions were inhumane, this wasn't right. Let me tell you why I have a fucking problem with that. I understand that historically, mental institutions, like the shit you see in movies, that really did happen. Electroshock therapy, fucking torture, literal torture. But people don't realize the conditions of mental institutions right before they shut them down were the same as the conditions in nursing homes, in jails. And what I mean by that is some of them are run okay. There's a little fuckery in all of them. Well, there's always going to be a little fuckery. But the bad ones that are run bad are really fucking bad. But why is the solution to that to shut them down and let the people out on the street? You wouldn't do that with a nursing home? You couldn't. You wouldn't do that with a jail? You couldn't. Why the fuck did they think that it was humane to release mentally unwell people? And it's not like they were letting them out and then housing them. They released all of these people out onto the fucking street with no housing, no doctors set up, no kind of counseling, nothing set up in place for these people. And they'll argue with you until you're blue in the face that they did it because those places were inhumane. It's humane to release people out into the street who have no homes, no therapeutic services, no fucking medication, no money, no job. And we bought it because of the way it was fed to us. Not everybody bought it. People who knew, like my dad, they knew it was bullshit, but how else would you know it was bullshit unless you were fucking in there? It's like everything else. You don't fucking know. They don't tell you the fucking truth. The government doesn't like you. The government doesn't fucking like you. The government doesn't give a shit about you. They want you fat. They want you lazy. They want you stupid. And more importantly, I think they want you fucking compliant, which all of those things will lead to. But you need to stop telling people that they're fucking crazy when we say that. Because governments treating people poorly, it's repeated in history over and over and fucking over. And we're so willing to accept the truth of something in the past and unwilling to recognize it when it's in the middle of, like, happening right in front of your fucking face. Just like the cyclical rise and fall of governments themselves historically. Like, that's a fucking thing. That's a fucking thing. And guess what? We're right directly in the time frame of when historically that happens. We are right in, there's a reason for this shit. These aren't conspiracies. This is just human fucking nature. Stop discounting, biology and human nature. And stop discounting corruption and power. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That is not universally true, to the extent of there are some people who can keep their shit together, but historically most don't. Look it up. Look this up. Look at the stock trading history and success rates of Congress people. It's out there. You can look it up, but you need to know that it's a really good representation, I think, like a practical representation of what the government is. And what I mean by that is, if you look at all of the members, red and blue, some of them aren't doing it. Some members on both sides, no fuckery with stocks. Guess what? Of the big group of people who do have stock fuckery going on, that shit is equally blue and red. Stop thinking that there are sides to this. It's one fucking diseased bird with two wings that they use to fuck with you. That's it. It's right there in your fucking face. And, they all get together. You can fucking fight this all you want. Media, pharma, government. And again, I'm going to speak to this because of when the fuck I was born and my own experiences with it. This, trend of the trans, non-binary, whatever the fuck shit. This is not new. This is a new face on an old fucking song and dance. When I was growing up, the first, mass mind hypnosis trend I remember was anorexia and bulimia. They scared the fuck out of parents. The media reporting on it literally made it more rampant because they were exposing more children to the idea of it and terrifying the parents because kids were dying. Kids were literally starving themselves to the point where they were going through heart failure. Girls were, rupturing their esophagi from vomiting so much. I could never be anorexic. I tried so fucking hard. I wanted to be so fucking skinny because that was like the trend at the time. To be able, my girlfriends and I the goal was to be able to fit your hands like this around your fucking thigh. I have always had big legs. I've run track and field my whole life. I would literally cry because some of my friends could do it, and I was like, I'm never going to be this fucking thin. I dabbled with bulimia for a while. I'm big on teeth. I have shit about teeth. And I was like, the more I would read about the shit. And my dad, of course, terrifying me with everything because he's right. He was like, it's going to eat the enamel on your teeth. And your fucking teeth are going to fall out of your head. And I was like, fuck this shit. So, got through that one. The next one was cutting. I tried it. Didn't get into it. I don't know. I wasn't like angsty enough for that, I guess. I like pierced my own nose instead. I was like, I can handle this much pain. This is appropriate. I'm not gonna. But again, media reporting on it, spread it to children, terrified parents. The reason they terrify the parents and spread it in the media is because the government and big pharma know the opportunity that's to be made. If you have a child who's going through puberty, or like even a little bit before that, people have fucking feelings. Children have feelings. It's so pushed on people that you are not supposed to allow yourself to be in discomfort, and that's bullshit. Everybody has feelings of depression and anxiety, and the varying degrees to that, I get. But what people don't want to admit is that you can mitigate that by fucking lifestyle choices. You don't need to jump right to medication, but lifestyle choice changes don't make money for them. But people feel shit, and there's a big benefit to feeling your fucking bad feelings from beginning to end. It's uncomfortable, it's not pleasant, but sometimes you fucking need to just do it. Sometimes you need to ride that shit out. And, you know, frankly, the fact that you can mitigate depression and anxiety so drastically just by exercise, we're not meant to just be stationary all day. That's not our biology. That's not how we've evolved. It causes those feelings in your body because your body has nothing to, your body needs, it's like a fucking dog. You need to be exercised. Stop thinking of yourself as some higher creation than that. You're not. You're a fucking German Shepherd. Go for a fucking walk. It's bullshit. But again, there's no fucking money to be made. And then the trans thing is different because, yes, you know, kids were dying from the anorexia. Kids were dying from the cutting. You're doing irreversible surgeries that are setting the course for fucking up their whole life. Let's say that your kid's going through shit and you're a parent and you're watching TV and you see, look at this new trend. You know, parents are worried. Kids are cutting themselves. They're getting, you know, so angsty and depressed and anxious, they're cutting themselves. And sometimes kids are dying. And as a parent, you're like, fuck. And then your kid who's going through puberty is like, I'm depressed. And if you don't know everything about physiology and nutrition and your body, which most people don't, and you literally don't know better, which most people don't, of course your reaction is to be afraid. I don't want something to happen to my kid. Let's say when you're watching the news, you see that clip. Guess what the next thing is? A fucking commercial for an antidepressant. And by the end of the commercial, the teenage girl and her mom are smiling at each other over cereal. And isn't that what you want? That's what you want. You don't want a depressed kid. You don't want a dead kid. You want your kid to be happy. So you take your kid to the doctor and you say, hey, I saw this commercial. Do you think this would be beneficial? Blah, blah, blah. And then the doctor proceeds to prescribe you what you recommended to the doctor. And please think about that for a second because, I mean, obviously that's a logical choice because as a cashier at Target, you know what's best medical-wise. As a bank teller, you know what's best medical-wise. As a fucking Amazon delivery driver, you know what's best medical-wise. You should never be able to walk into a doctor's office, suggest something, and have that immediately be what they prescribe. Try it out. If you go to your doctor and you do that, get a new fucking doctor. Because guess what's happening? You are being used. That doctor is getting a kickback for prescribing that fucking pill. They go get their nice new boat. And Big Pharma continues to funnel in the money because that antidepressant they put you on is addictive as fuck. There's only a couple things that can kill you if you just go cold turkey to get off of them, and that's fucking one of them. And that should tell you something. That is you are a lifelong paycheck to these people. That's it. Don't think that they're trying to help you. In reality, to Big Pharma, there are good doctors out there. There are good fucking doctors out there. But they're getting fewer. Because money. Money at the end of the day is the thing that's always going to, rule the roost, I guess, so to speak. But it's government, it's Big Pharma, they're going to get your kids. You got to watch out. Because how many times, this is the third time I'm witnessing this just in, my lifetime. How many kids are they going to fuck up? How many kids are you going to let them fuck up before you start to take control of your own fucking life and make uncomfortable decisions and educate yourself and start using facts to change your fucking mind? No reasonable human should ever, I don't care how deep-rooted or how long you've thought what you've thought, if you are presented with facts, absolute fucking facts, a reasonable person observes those facts, processes them, and then changes their fucking mind. That's what normal people do. So, again, congratulations to Nancy Pelosi for her award in advancing healthcare. That was the whole point of this. We love you. You're doing great, sweetie. Get a fucking brow release, bitch. You're scary. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.